Hello you guys, welcome back to the SuperMarvelSpider-Man. Today we're back with another video. Yes, we're bringing back the car videos. The car videos are back. But today, if you guys are new here, I'm SuperMarvelSpider-Man and we do reaction and some car videos. So today I am finally talking about the new Lamborghini Fenomeno. Is this better than the Ferrari F80? Is this a killer to the McLaren W1? Let's see. Is this a perfect Lamborghini hypercar? But today we're gonna find out if this is better or not. We're gonna find out today. We can see, look at this yellow, which we can see all that yellow. We can see all that yellow, which is Lamborghini's main color. And yellow actually is very good on the Lamborghini, obviously. But this is perfect. For this, let's mention every one-off of Lamborghini and every hypercar. 2008 we had the Revington. That was back in 2007 we had the Revington. That was a $2 million hypercar, and that was a super special vehicle, and it was inspired by the F-22 fighter jet. That's where they got the inspiration from, and this is from and based on Murcielago. And this is actually this is actually Aventador's father, because this was actually meant to tease what the Aventador was supposed to look like. But you can really see this is a huge Easter egg for the Aventador. And in 2013 we had the Veneno. And Veneno means venom in Italian, which is poison and enters to your blood. And it's absolutely ferocious, the Veneno. But we cannot forget the legendary Sesso Elemento. The Sesso Elemento. This is perfect. The Sesso Elemento is whoa. I have not heard no one talk about the Sesso Elemento. Being a 2010 car, you can see how it looks. Like this car's like older than me, but we could see like, oh look at the Sesso Elemento. It just looks good. Surprised being a 2010 car. In 2025, you can see how good it is now. And then after that, in 2016, we had Centenario, which celebrated Ferruccio Lamborghini's 100th birthday. This was meant to honor Ferruccio Lamborghini. The Centenario was an icon. It was a legend. And Ferruccio Lamborghini said he wanted to build the perfect car. There we go. The Centenario was the perfect car. And then 2019 we had the Sion, which was actually a tribute to Ferdinand Piëch, the guy that saved Lamborghinis. The Sion was actually a homage to the VW Group, which helped Lamborghini rises again from his ashes. But Ferdinand Piëch, which helped Volkswagen what it is today. And you could see that the Sion has somehow like Marcello Gandini's signature wedge shape design. Then after that, then we had the Countach, the LPI 800-4, the LPI 4. This was actually a revival of the Countach. The Sion, all of these one-offs were based on the older Aventador. But the all-new Fenomeno built on the Revolter's back. And which sits above with the Temerari in the Legion Bull family, which was just presented ahead of the 2025 Modern Car Week. It's the mean has a few off, which means it's a limited edition vehicle, which is pretty much a coach build for Revolter. But this took Lambo to about 2 years to create its first ride based on the Revolter, as it entered back in production in 2023 at the Santigate Bolognese. The new model features some new headlights and more daytime running lights, and the bumper does not look aggressive as the one found in the Revolter, but a mean on the hood. But you could see that shape headlights, which we actually see from the which actually reminds me of the Veneno a bit. The U-shaped tail lights. But this Lamborghini claims that how fast the Fenomeno from 0 to 62 miles per hour. The Region Bull claims that the acceleration takes up to 2.4 seconds. That is a tenth of a second faster than the Revolter. Then we go into the interior, so right now we're gonna pay attention to this. Just we actually pay attention to this. Only 29 units of the Fenomeno. Only 29 units. This might be stated a 3 million euros, or roughly $3.5 million. But it makes the Revolters, which starts at a little over $600,000, which looks extremely affordable in comparison. The Fenomeno is a phenomenal supercar. It trumps the regular Revolter. So we have the Revolter. You can see that.
Was nicking all the limelight. This was when the last P1 Porsche announced the 918 Spider had done a sub 7-minute lap of the Nürburgring.
Let's see.
And Lamborghini had
Veneno versus
nothing,
Ferrari,
no hybrid
but the
certainly to show
Fenomeno
off.
versus
So what they did was said, well, we're just going to unveil a car that is more expensive and rarer than all of your cars. And that was this. 4 coupes, 9 roadsters, 3 million euros for what's basically a heavily body-kitted, super downforcey Aventador with no hybrid gubbins whatsoever. But maybe it was a clever idea. One of these auctions last year for $6 million, twice what it cost you. Certainly a brutal looking thing, definitely not the prettiest.
We have the Centenario, which I already talked about. 2016, 100th birthday of Ferruccio
Lamborghini, the company founder. You're probably getting the drill by now. Aventador SV basis, 770 horsepower from the V12. First Lamborghini with rear-wheel steering. First Lamborghini with a touchscreen, 20 coupes, 20 roadsters, £1.6 million each, and today at auction, about the same, so kind of the bargain of the group.
And
then at the front, coming past, another little aero flick off this wheel arch. they've done away with the Revuelto's big spidery LED that's spread out all over the front. You've got these hooded headlights here that
you'll see how perfect this is.
750S makes the car look really menacing. Added more width to it as well. The car is actually wider than the standard Revuelto. The bonnet, there's no thought to load space here. This is about aerodynamics. You've got an S-duct where air is being blown up here.
I like how we had the original Countach from
bringing downforce
1974
onto the front. So overall, it definitely passes the key acid test, doesn't it? Could you take the badges off, paint it all black and not in the signature colour, and guess what brand it is? Yeah, I think it's unmistakably Lamborghini because it is paying homage in so many ways to V12 raging bulls of the past. Speaking of which,
we're going to name every V12.
Getting into recent history now, and I've not been looking forward to pronouncing this one. It is, depending on who you ask, the Shan, or the Cyan, or the Cyan. I'm going to call it the FKP37 if you don't mind, because this is the car that paid tribute to the late Ferdinand Piëch, born in 1937, the Volkswagen Group Supremo, the big boss who instructed the Germans to go and buy that silly little Italian supercar maker and turn it into this mega profitable colossus. What's interesting about this car is also that it's green, sort of. This is the moment that hybridity comes to Lamborghini. It's a V12 with e-boost, 30 horsepower motor in the gearbox to smooth out those infamously awful Aventador jerk gearbox shifts, and it's charged not by a big heavy lithium-ion battery, but by a fast discharge, fast recharge supercapacitor. Really clever. But they didn't use it in the Revuelto or the Temerario, did they? 63 coupes built, 19 roadsters. So they're getting more common, these few offs, but they're not getting any cheaper. 2.2 million euros for
special. This is the LP 500. Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows, this car doesn't exist anymore, and it's also just a design model. Yeah, because it looks like a car, but it is in the end of the day, it's our visualization. For me, it's something very special, because the LP 500, maybe you have some nice photos that you can show now in this video. Yeah, it was presented in 71. Yeah, and for me, this is the starting point of our design DNA that we are using also on a car like the Fenomeno. Yeah, because for me, the Countach, of course, there was the Miura before, but the Countach is the one that has the Lamborghini silhouette. Yeah, and it's also for me, and to this day, is the one that is also giving us a lot of inspiration for the sculpture, for the surfaces. And this model here is a recreation of our design team, because we 2 or 3 years ago, we presented this car as a real car in Villa d'Este, and that was our design mock-up, because we wanted to recreate this to the perfection. You know, we were using all the photos, all the black and white photos of this original car, and then we were working on every inclination, double-checking where in the original car was something negative and so on, the size of the exhaust pipes, all the directions we were checking. And this is for us something special, because it's a big team effort in Centro Stile, but then also together with Polo Storico.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting because it might not immediately be obvious, but this is so much obviously part of the history that leads us to where we are now.
So this is 71, so this is now 52 years old, or 53 years. So in the end of the day, here we have the Lamborghini Fenomeno. This is our latest creation. This is our, let's say, stunning piece of design that we are about to present from today in 2 weeks, in Pebble Beach. And that's our design model. So for everyone that is seeing this video, it looks like a car, but for us it is, let's say, the latest milling of the design. So we are able to present it to you or to the customer or to ourselves to check really every little detail. The Fenomeno is also for sure following exactly the design principles of the Countach. Always the silhouette, So when you see the car in side view, there's always the single center line, and this is for me the #1 ingredient of this Italian, recipe to create a nice pasta, but pasta in the style of Lamborghini.
I get it, but interestingly, you use the phrase hyper elegant.
Yes.
And it's really intriguing to me because when you create a car like this, a few-off car, cars like Revuelto and Temerario already look special. You need to make this look even more special.
Exactly.
It has to somehow sit above, well, the flagship. It's the Halo product, right?
Yes, yes.
How do you go about that from the beginning when you're starting with a blank sheet of paper? How do you begin?
I would say
it
starts with a nice shower, or I go running. Maybe. So at the end of the day, it is starting with an image that comes into my mind. But of course, we are working here as a big team. So when we do the starting of such a project, we have a lot of sketches and a lot of ideas. But at one point, we always meet all the designers, and then I say, guys. I share with you my vision that I have. I want to also your idea, and then we are kind of talking us through what kind of fantasy we have for such a car. And the term hyper elegant, for us it was clear the car is for a very, very special presentation day. Pebble Beach, Monterey, the Monterey Car Week is an extremely exclusive event. Everywhere supercars. The town is full of beautiful things. So you need to create something that is sticking out, and therefore we were saying, okay, let's give this car the term hyper elegant, which means hyper elegant means this is like an athlete that is not in his usual sports suit, but he's wearing a nice robe, maybe even a black tie. I don't know. So we have created surfaces that are a little bit more human. We are using like the original Countach large surfaces. The original Countach was also not so hard in terms of when you look at the sharp lines. The car is. From far away you see it sharp, also this one, but when you see the bigger surfaces, I would like to highlight one, is the surface here, the rear shoulder. We really did nothing here. We just made a negative shape, a long positive shape, and then a nice muscle, but it looks so stunning, especially when you see it from rear view. Because here's where the athlete becomes then this kind of person in the sense of a car. So especially in the rear view, there is this human structure underneath, but it's the same of the Countach. But then Lamborghini, we always want to have then of course something that is standing out. No, you know that for example our light signature is very important. Everyone else is doing light stripes, and which is fine for me. But we want to have always something really different. And therefore we came up with this idea, the double Y looks a bit like victory, it looks a bit like, I don't know, something very proud. And this is for me the best part on the Fenomeno.
It's taking familiar shapes, because the Ypsilon and the hexagons are very familiar shapes. And there are a few more to talk about as we walk around. Talk to me about the length, because it's a big car, obviously very different proportionally to Temerario, for example.
Now also here, you come from the mission. The starting point is the mission. The Temerario is agile, compact, nimble, no? It wants to be fast on the track. This car here is like, I don't know, it's playing with shape. This is a car for a concours d'elegance, and in this occasion you dress well and you have space. Because such a car is always, I'm always imagining it on a green field, on a nice, in Quail Lodge, there's so much space. When you walk over to Lamborghini, you can see from 100 meters, you can see a Lamborghini already. And these are the moments that I pre-imagine when we design the cars. So that's why the car is longer. In Italy, we would say filante. There's a bit of long tail. That's the idea behind.
It has the length because obviously the overhangs significantly grow in comparison to something that's more fun or pointed in that like agile direction. But you've also integrated the aero.
Yes.
You've brought in, I'm going to say, familiar ideas or shapes from motorsport. There's a lot of motorsport.
Exactly. But in an elegant way, exactly. So the wing, we wanted to have really everything integrated. So later in the final car, you will see the wing is moving out. We have a couple of positions here for the downforce position, for the speed position, etc. If you want, here we gave some inspiration from the STO or from the Essenza SCV12.
In fact, I think a lot of the tail and the shape feels very reminiscent of SCV12.
As I say, for me it's like, in the end of the day, it's It's like when you taste a nice glass of red wine. There's always something that you discover and you say, this Chianti has a taste of another red wine. And this is a little bit what is for me totally fine when we look at a Lamborghini. Important is that everyone is saying, I see here Countach and I see Gallardo.
Then have a radial flux motor, the E-motor, sitting at the rear on top of the engine, and also two axial flux motors on the front axle. So you have a full electric driving, and in fact, more so than before due to a new